You're looking for a fair process? You came to the wrong town at the wrong time, my friend.
Senator Lindsey Graham did not hold back at today's hearing about politics at play in all of this, but not the first case, of course, where political bias has plagued sexual assault cases, and it will not be the last. Here now, Bill Bennet, host of the Bill Bennet podcast, former education secretary, and now a Fox News contributor. What did you think of Lindsey Graham today, Bill? I
thought he was great. I think any of those conservatives, those true red-blooded conservatives in South Carolina who've had their doubts about Lindsey, not anymore, not after today. I think he's got a lot of golf with the president in his future, too, you know.
Yeah, I think there was probably a pretty big cheering session where the president was watching that.
It was a great moment because it was genuine anger, and he was absolutely right, and he had all the right notes.
So in terms of what the big picture is, what your takeaway is from today, and I just want to mention that Joe Manchin, because everyone's wondering what the influence is on people's votes at this point. Joe Manchin says we are all undecided.
We are all undecided. Really?
Declaration by Joe Manchin.
Speaking for the Democrats on the committee, I wonder. Glad to hear he's undecided. That could make a difference. I can project the future only by talking about the past. I remember in the late 90s going into green rooms, talking with Democrats before I went on to talk about Bill Clinton. I wrote a book called The Death of Outrage. The president really hit this well the other day when he was talking about the con job. He said Democrats get together and they laugh about this. They say, oh, we got it. We got a delay. We'll get another delay. When I was in those green rooms with Democrats, we'd be debating on TV, and afterwards they'd say, you're absolutely right. He should go. He should be impeached. He should leave. It's deplorable. They'd go on TV and just lie. And I thought, the Bible, you know, sell your birthright for a mess of pottage. And I think this party has. They will go to no depths. There are no depths to which they will refuse to go and try to get their way. It's a badly tainted party. What I thought would happen after Judge Kavanaugh's spontaneous, it was hard to watch, wasn't it? He was so close to breaking up. But when he gave his version of, this is a lynching, was that some of them would be shamed. But there's no shame in that party. You know, the two words we say, shameful and shameless, they were not shameful, they were shameless, they were without shame. And they will do anything to take him down, and that they're almost willing to say that. And the president was absolutely right to call that party out on that. I don't know what happens now. I don't know how the American people sort this out. I think he makes it through, but we are at a great divide in American politics right now. I think it is right to say that, other than the Civil War, this is the time of the greatest division. Good news is we got over the Civil War. It passed, and we did get back together. But this is a serious, serious thing.
One of the things we discussed after I did the interview on Monday night, and Judge Kavanaugh was very reserved, very withheld in his responses, and people said, you know, he needs to show more passion. He needs to be more like Clarence Thomas was in the hearing in 1991 and let people see his heart more in this. Let's play this cut from Clarence Thomas back then and get Bill's thoughts.
This is a case in which this sleaze, this dirt, was searched for by staffers of members of this committee, was then leaked to the media, and this body validated it and displayed it at prime time over our entire nation.
There's a lot of similarities there to what we saw today.
Somebody said, despite the superficiality of a lot of television, that if you're on there enough and it's close enough, television will show you your soul. And I think that showed Clarence Thomas's soul. And I think we saw Judge Kavanaugh's soul today. Righteous indignation, and it's powerful. Provided the American people understand that's what it was, see it for what it is, and understand that that was not made up. I thought that the emotion showed by him and by Lindsey Graham were the most telling things. I was delighted to see the president being so pleased with it. You could see the president, you could almost hear the president cheering this thing on. How's the vote go? I hope it goes right.
But you know the president would have gone the other way if he didn't like what he saw today and he thought that Judge Kavanaugh was not going to make it through this process, or he wasn't strong enough, he wasn't feisty enough. Do you think the president opened the door yesterday to the possibility that he might change his mind?
Strength, I think. think, is what the president admires, and he showed that strength today. Despite the almost tears, he showed that strong conviction. There's something else here going on about the culture, and I was thinking, you're a parent, I'm a parent. By the way, I'm a parent of 2 Georgetown Prep sons. My wife and I raised 2 Georgetown Prep sons. And by the way, they occasionally got in trouble. I have to confess, my boys, nothing like this. Small things that happened in this community went through the community like wildfire. You know, everybody knew. It's a very close-knit community. You don't do something like what Brett Kavanaugh is accused of without everybody knowing about it. So it just seems to me implausible for another reason. But think about boys and girls and young men and women. It's hard enough growing up in adolescence, that first date or that first call. And boy, this complicates things. This really complicates things. People wonder and worry about how to talk, how to act.
But surely you felt sympathy for Christine Blasey Ford when she described her heartfelt feelings about what she's been through.
I did. I think she is a troubled person, a pretty clearly troubled person, obviously haunted by this. But I think she believes what she is saying. I don't think she's lying. She genuinely believes this happened, and maybe something did happen to her. But I don't think it was Judge Kavanaugh. I think that's beyond a shadow of a doubt. And look, one thing that people are saying, we got to stop saying, this is not a court of law. Why do we have the presumption of innocence in a court of law? Because the law borrows from our moral life. Someone said once, the law is the witness and external deposit of our moral life. The reason we import preponderance of the evidence and beyond the shadow of a doubt in a courtroom is because it accords with common sense and good moral sense. You can't be accused of being a witch and be burned as a witch without evidence, and there's usually no evidence for witches.
Bill Bennet, thank you. Nice to have you in the studio, and great to see you tonight on a really historic day for the country, and a day that I think everybody will not long forget. But
with all due respect to Geraldo, not as historic as Donald Trump's presidency. That was cosmic. This is major and significant, but Donald Trump's victory was cosmic.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you.